The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. On this edition of The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise. Are you looking for an attorney you can trust for your personal injury? Are you a veteran that needs legal assistance? Tim Hiller is here from Hiller Comerford with advice. Confused about what kind of health coverage you and your family need as you get older? Cathy Aquino from Independent Health is here to tell us how the red shirts can help. Then the team at Cellino Plumbing are helping a hometown organization with their mission to stop domestic violence. Find out about the Rachel Warrior Foundation. All on this edition of The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise. Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Whack. Joining us on The Big Whack's Buffalo on the Rise is Tim Hiller. Tim is from Hiller Comerford Injury and Disability Law. Great to have you here today.
Great to be here.
Thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about the law offices. I'm sure everybody was familiar with the law offices of Kenneth Hiller. So tell us why you're making the change to Hiller Comerford.
Sure. So, as most people out there know, the law office of Kenneth Hiller was founded in about 1999, and it really developed a reputation in the area as a Social Security disability law firm. But what a lot of people don't know is that, from the beginning, my father was always interested in expanding out into other areas of law where he felt he could make a difference in other people's daily lives. So, for instance, over the years, my father had established a VA disability practice, a personal injury practice, a consumer rights and a civil rights practice. And so, kind of because of he was a victim of his own success with Social Security disability, it was hard to kind of get the word out that we did other things. And so part of this rebrand is to bring attention to some of those other areas and to build upon, the success that he's had with the Social Security disability. The other thing is we wanted to kind of take a moment, Ida Comerford and I, my partner, wanted to take a moment and just kind of think about what direction we wanted to go in as a firm, and rebranding and changing the name kind of gave us an opportunity to focus our attention. And so we picked 3 areas of law: veterans disability, Social Security disability, and personal injury. And we're kind of focusing around that. And so that Hiller Comerford brand that we're launching is, we really wanted to be synonymous with those 3 areas.
So the office of Kenneth Hiller is no more. That's it's the new face of the company that you have now. Correct. And there's some fear. When Ida and I bought the firm actually in 2021, and the law office of Kenneth Hiller had been so successful. You're kind of like, well, do we really want to change the name, right? But Ida and I had a talk, and we felt that we didn't want to just take over this company and just kind of like coast. We felt that we owed it to my father's legacy to continue to try to improve it. And so part of what we're trying to do by changing the name is to live up to that and to take the company to the next level.
Was that a difficult thing for your dad? I mean, I know family businesses, sometimes when the younger folks come in and they take over, it's kind of like, yeah, you can take over to a point, but, was it a tough thing?
I think it was and it wasn't. I'm sure he had some feeling. He built this from nothing. The law office of Kenneth Hiller, he built this from nothing. I was there. I was a teenager when he was building this, and so I saw the work that he's put in over the years. So I'm sure there were some feelings, but I think mostly from talking about him, he's just excited for Ida, who's a dear friend of my father, and obviously for me and the direction that we're headed in.
So tell us a little bit about your background and about Ms. Comerford's background.
Yeah, so I was basically born into this. Like I mentioned, I was a teenager when my father started the firm. And so I was kind of coming of age, and I remember him. We would be in the car back then. They still had cassettes, and so I remember listening to a cassette tape of a Social Security disability hearing and kind of asking my father questions. What's going on, and he would explain it to me, or he would come home and talk about a personal injury case. And so I was kind of born into this practice. Now I did have a brief period in college where I thought maybe I was going to be a doctor, but kind of destiny kicked in, and here I am. And Ida was born into it in her own way as well. She obviously she has no family relation, but what I've gotten to know about Ida, she was born in South Buffalo, and she's her upbringing really instilled in her a deep need to want to be helpful to other people, and specifically regular everyday people who are in need. And so she was born into the ethos of this law firm, and so we both kind of bring that background, but we also bring some energy and a desire to take this to the next level.
Just, you should have met me sooner. I would have introduced you to cassettes that have music on them. But so what makes Hiller Comerford different from other law firms in the area?
Well, there's a few things. I mean, number one, I think as it comes to Social Security disability, my father did not get a reputation for being excellent at Social Security disability by accident. We really are the brain trust when it comes to Social Security disability. We have law firms all around the country who hand us their unfavorable disability decisions and say, help us. So it's not just that we're the brain trust in Western New York or even in New York State. We really have a national reputation as being on the forefront of that area of law. Another thing that distinguishes us from other law firms in the area is that we handle veterans disability law. There's a huge need for our veterans, especially with, unfortunately with the wars that have gone on, in the 2000s. We have a lot of injured and disabled veterans, and they have a need for services. They have a need for disability benefits because they've been injured. And dealing with the VA is a very difficult process. And so one thing that separates us is, we dove into this very complex area of law, and we've built this veterans disability practice. I think the final thing that separates us in the personal injury realm is, number one, we truly are in it for the clients. You're never going to see with us, you're never going to see us Viking bill a client for fees and costs. And the other thing is, we're not just in it for a quick settlement. If your case needs to go to trial, we'll take your case to trial. We're not just going to sell the case short just because it's more cost efficient for us to settle it quickly. We really are in it to improve our clients' lives.
Tim Hiller from Hiller Comerford Injury and Disability Law, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
For more information on the law offices of Hiller Comerford, you can call 1-866-HILLER-LAW or www.hillercomerford.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by the law offices of Hiller Comerford. Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Weck. Joining us on The Big Weck Buffalo on the Rise today is Cathy Aquino. Cathy, I'm going to make sure I get this right. Vice President of Sales, Medicare and Small Business Markets in Independent Health.
That's it. You nailed it, Joe.
That's very good.
Very good.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Got your red shirt on.
I
Look
do.
at you.
Yeah, we're living in this time of year.
Really?
So, yeah,
It's set you off so well. You talk about this time of the year. This is the annual open enrollment period,
yes,
right?
Correct.
And it's so confusing to me until I should have known, because I get this big book in the mail yesterday, right?
Mailing
and then
start, yeah.
Everybody and their brother is emailing me. Time to look at your plan. But I have to tell me now, even if you have a plan that you've had for a couple of years that you like, you still should be reviewing that at this point in time, right?
Yeah, during this annual enrollment period, as we just called it, AEP is the three letters that we label it. It's that one time a year that you get to meet with someone, review what that plan is going to look like for next year. So you could be very happy with your plan, but this is when the health plans are making changes to those plans, and you need to understand what that means to you. So if you enjoy your plan and it's working for you, that's great, but you still need to check in with someone just to ask those questions. Is anything changing?
You know, it's like alphabet soup. Part A, part B, part C, part
Sure is. Yeah.
You know, and I have to tell you, I'm just not that educated when it comes to it. And I think the other thing is, this year, there are a lot of changes from a federal standpoint, right?
Yeah. So the annual enrollment period, I don't think I mentioned, does run from October 15th through December 7th.
Okay.
So as you do go in to meet with people, and for us meeting with the red shirts, there have been changes that have been brought down through the federal government. So it's called the Inflation Reduction Act, Joe, and it started in 2022 and it's been slowly phased in over the last 2 years. But the significant impact of this Inflation Reduction Act for 2025 is going to be with the Medicare Part D prescription coverage. So to explain that is that once a Medicare beneficiary has paid out $2,000 in prescription costs for their prescriptions, what happens in 2025 when they hit the $2,000 is the health plan then will assume all costs thereafter. So it's a great benefit for our consumers, for our Medicare beneficiaries. So with that, and the health plan is having to absorb these costs, that depends on what the plans did to make changes to absorb the cost for 2025. Back to how important it is to meet with someone to really see what's going to be happening with your prescription coverage for next year.
So different plans may find different ways to absorb those costs,
Correct.
basically.
That's right. With plan changes, premium changes, and formulary changes. Again, all part of the package, what you get when you enroll with a Medicare Advantage plan.
And should you be shopping pharmacies as well?
You know, a lot of people ask us that question. Obviously, if you're happy with the pharmacy that you're going to, a lot of them have mail order also, then, you know, stay where you are. But sometimes there are certain prescription drugs that, based on if you don't run it through your prescription card, through your health plan, sometimes you can get it a little bit cheaper, you know, based on the generic drugs and, you know, over the counter. So you probably want to ask, you know, your pharmacist, or go to another pharmacy and just ask, hey, these are the medications I'm on. What would they be if I ran them through your pharmacy?
Because, you know, I got a note, I think a letter in the mail that said such and such a pharmacy is a Medicare, you know, certified pharmacy.
Sure. Yep.
And on most of the things I don't pay for, you know what I mean? There is zero copay or whatever.
Yep.
But some things, it could be $20, $25 less.
Yes, and to align it with the changes that are happening for next year, Joe, usually tiers 1 and 2, your prescriptions on tiers 1 and 2 are your generic drugs. Tier 1 usually no cost, tier 2 a slight copayment. But on tiers 3, 4, and 5 is where we're going to see the Inflation Reduction Act changes to these formularies depending on what insurance carrier you're enrolled in. So some plans have a deductible and then you go to a flat copayment. Other plans have no deductible, you have a co-insurance. So literally I'm telling people this year, Joe, do the math. Do the math and see where you end up based on what prescriptions you are going to be on for next year.
All right, and Independent Health's Medicare Advantage plan for 2025. If people want to understand this, want to meet with a red shirt, are they making an appointment? Are they walking in?
No, because of the changes that are happening, and really we're encouraging to meet with so many of our members, we're just telling folks to either call us or walk into one of our Medicare information centers. Always bring your list of prescriptions, understand what your medical usage was this year and what it might look like for next year, and just walk in and meet with a red shirt.
If I walk in around dinner time at your house, do I get dinner too?
No, I don't think so. I don't really cook, Joe.
All right, well, just thought I'd ask that question. All right, so Independent Health is going to help people make a determination for them. And as I said, you know, if it's something, if they have your plan this year or they have a plan from somebody else, they should be meeting with them. But they should be meeting with their red shirts or comparable individuals every year, right?
Every year, just even if it's over the phone or sit down and, you know, have an actual assessment and review, you know, all of the plans. Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is that, you know, your copays could have changed for your doctor's visits, hospital. Again, back to the prescription, very big for next year. So you want to know what you're signing up for. If you don't make any changes and you just stay in the plan, you might be surprised next year. So it behooves you to just sit down with someone and absolutely know what you're going to be looking at for next year.
Don't be lazy, folks. They do all the work for you. I mean, let's
we ask a lot of questions, but that's part of the Red Shirt Review.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
For more information about your healthcare needs, contact Independent Health, 716-635-4900, www.independenthealth.com/Medicare. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Independent Health. I'm Joe Chili, mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Weck. Joining us on The Big Weck's Buffalo on the Rise today is Lucas Cellino, who's the president of Cellino Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Lucas, nice to see you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. What inspired you guys to support domestic violence awareness through this partnership that you have with the Rachel Warrior Foundation?
Certainly. So every year we do an annual truck wrap contest where we take 64 nonprofits, kind of throw them through a March Madness bracket where the community votes. We get down to the final two. This year was Sophia the Fierce and Rachel Warriors. It was very close. We have all my coworkers vote, and we voted for Sophia the Fierce. They were a runner-up. We wanted to make sure we can do something to support them. We knew October is certainly the month that it's dedicated to with the most lights, so I figured we'd try and find something then.
And do you actually wrap a truck, for the month? So it's got Cellino, and it's kind of co-branded with this.
That's right. Yeah. So not for that would be our truck wrap winner, which was Sophia's.
Yep.
The runner-up we always want to they get through the whole process. So Rachel Warriors was the runner-up. Wanted to make sure we did something. We didn't wrap a truck with her.
But still, that's a very nice thing. It's a commendable thing to do. Now, tell me about the $5 donation and how this goes. For the lawn signs.
Yeah, so one of the things that I love to do is when I'm driving around and I see a Cellino Plumbing lawn sign, I get a little smile, but I'll get an even bigger smile in October is we offer the customers $5 off if they allow us to put a lawn sign out. So when it goes with work, $5 off, we'll put the lawn sign. We're gonna then also donate $5 to the Rachel Warriors Foundation for the month of October here.
So you're encouraging the community through these signs to help donate as well, right?
Yeah, so we're going to donate $5. We also leave each customer with a folder, and in there will be a flyer just like this that will tell them a little bit more about Rachel Warriors and also allow them the opportunity to match or leave a donation as well.
So it's something that, that you said that you did a campaign, where you kind of, selected, a winner and a runner-up for this truck wrap. So how did you investigate it? How did you get into this? How did you look in to find out what you really wanted to support?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in backing the community that supports us. And we've run 8 truck wraps now. And
really?
Started off, we tried just building the 32 bracket contest. And within a day, we had like 80 different nonprofits submit. So we're looking for 501c3 nonprofits that have a local presence here. We kind of just let the community vote. We get down to the final 2, and we let those 2 nonprofits come in and present to our company.
So, do you take credit for the lawn sign idea?
We've been doing lawn. I don't. No, we've been doing lawn signs for quite a while actually.
But this is kind of a different bend on that, right?
This is, we've never actually redesigned that's actually a lie. We did do Kids Escaping Drugs one year, maybe 5 years back. We should do it more often, but no, this was a team effort. I'm not exactly sure who had the idea, but it'll definitely helps brand.
You could have taken credit for it. Nobody really.
Next time.
I understand that. And what kind of options do your patrons have for donating?
If they scan the QR code, certainly check can be mailed in, but there will be credit card links as well. I'm not sure about cash, but if they did want to leave something with one of our techs while they're on site, we'd certainly get it over to them as well.
This has got to be a big season for your work in general, not just with the foundation, but Cellino Plumbing, and I have to tell you, yesterday or a couple of days ago, my heat went out for the first time. It's like every year you wonder, is it going to work? All summer long, you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to rely on it, but it's a big time of the year for you guys, right?
Yeah, it's Armageddon almost. So as soon as everyone starts flipping that switch, that's when most of the people find out that they're not working. We do influence a lot of maintenance plans where we do a tune-up before that flip gets switched when you need it. But yeah, certainly it's we go from a very low call count in the HVAC world or the heating world to a very high call count very quickly.
What about those? I can remember getting I was getting up to go to work. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And all of a sudden, I walk into the bathroom and there's water leaking out of the ceiling.
Oh boy. From
upstairs, you know? And I'm thinking, can I call somebody in the middle of the night or can I not call? What happens in a situation like that? Because it's, I'm looking, hardwood floors, you know what I mean? Leaking water coming down, this isn't good.
Yeah, so we used to be 24/7. We now only will dispatch up till 9 p.m. Mm-hmm. Truthfully, it's just because it's hard to find good techs. Mm-hmm. We want to treat them right, and part of it is if they're out all night and then they got to come to work the next morning, it is tough. So as a customer, we go in when we do a plumbing inspection, we'll actually label all the valves. We'll show customers how you can actually shut those off if there's an emergency. So anytime you have water leaking, if you're not sure if it's the drain or potable water, we would suggest just turn off the main valve. And again, we would tag that and show them and generally get by till the morning to make a call.
That's good. So if you're looking at me right now, my face is kind of like a question mark when it comes to things like that. I go to you guys and that's the way that I figure out what's going on. Now, what about people that are getting ready for winter right now and you have your air conditioning unit on the outside? Do you cover that for winter? Is there anything special you should be doing?
So it's tricky because the issue is if you cover it, you got to make sure you uncover it before you start it. And we see that happen a lot where they don't. They are built to be outside. So it's one of those things like I personally cover mine. They are made to sit outside. They will last whether they're covered or not. But really preference, just big thing is if you do cover it, make sure you uncover it.
Or it's bad news. Or they will be calling you for another reason.
Yeah.
Lucas Cellino, president of Cellino Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
For more information on the Rachel Warrior Foundation, go to www.rachelwarriorfoundation.org. And thanks to Cellino Plumbing for their support. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by the Rachel Warrior Foundation.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Big Wack Presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigwack.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to the Big Wack, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big Wack Presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.